Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Harry Brailsford with CSG Services. Thank you for joining us for the second quarter analyst report regarding channel marketing, sales, and resources. Thank you very much for your time. If you're not familiar with CSG Services is a 20-year-old company that serves large technology firms and other firms along the way, including Microsoft, Amazon, Dell, CenturyLink, AT&T, and a long list of successes. We're based in Bellevue, Washington, and we have offices worldwide, including call centers, so we can handle the largest and most demanding projects on behalf of our clients. With that said, let's jump into a conversation today. So we wanted to talk about accelerating the channel performance and give you some Q2 updates. And so one that I find especially interesting before we jump into the heart of the presentation comes from our research partner, TechIsle. Anurag over at TechIsle recently released a study that talks about cloud channel partner competition, and this is really important for the vendors, the distributors, the ISVs, and the OEMs that we serve to be aware of this. So basically, in the last 4 years, there's a sentiment that 15% increase in the sentiment that vendors are selling directly and ergo competing with cloud channel partners. And there's a 55% increase or sentiment increase that distributors are selling directly and in effect competing with channel partners. And what this has the effect of doing is that it's getting increasingly complex for a disti, a vendor, an ISV, an OEM to navigate channel partner programs. And here's the good news. That's what we do best. That's what CSG helps companies with all day, every day, is to help manage their channel partners, increase their marketing ROI, make their sales more effective, and finally, resources. So with that said, I'm going to hand off to my colleague, Matthew Pettishaw. Matthew, good morning. How are you doing today?
Hey, Harry, how you doing? Doing well.
Good. Good. Hey, I want to hand off at that point that I guess what I'm trying to make here, the point I'm making in Q2, Matthew, is that the relationship between, let's just say generically, the vendor and the channel partner is not only in transformation, but I would offer becoming more complex. And I want to pose the question to you as you introduce CSG probably better than I did. How can CSG help? What does CSG do? How can we help in terms of helping vendors manage the channel partner programs that they have or are creating?
Right, and I think the only thing I would add to the introduction to CSG was there's a couple things that I've noticed in my time here that we're an agile company. We like to do things quickly. We like to cut the red tape out. Our core business is providing scale to other organizations, and through some of what we're going to show today, the experience that we have in managing these programs really does set us apart from our competitors. So Harry, let me jump over to a slide. It's one of our solutions here. I'm going to jump over to partner coverage at scale. What I'll show today are 2 slides per solution. I'll try to briefly go through 4 or 5 of them. But what I'll show is what we call a solution sheet, which you'll see on my screen now. This is something that we wanted to make for our stakeholders that they can kind of take upstairs and show to their manager, show to their leadership team for if they were to work with CSG, some of the results that we've seen driving ROI for their programs. And when we look at the different motions, metrics, and results that we have for a coverage at scale model, we like to do the entire thing so you could just have a turnkey on-demand solution. So you'll see these different slides throughout the presentation today, and of course, Harry and I are happy to provide them after the call, and they're also available on our website, csgservices.com. Harry mentioned an interesting comment about partners selling through distribution. In addition to our solution sheets, we also have case studies for successful programs that we've run that correspond with those solution sheets. Here's one that we did for Microsoft that was about a 5-year program, and again, this was a SPLA partner selling through the disti channel. And this program actually resulted in nearly 40x ROI. Let me say that again, 40x ROI back to Microsoft for the investment that they made with us. We find that when we look at the channel revenue model, we kind of look at it as a pyramid where the capstone are the Fortune 100 accounts that the client works with. They have very small ratios of account management to partner, and these partners are well covered. Companies are always very good at getting people in the acquisition mode. Would you like to sign up for the newsletter? Would you like to sign up for the partner program? But we find there's a gap in coverage in the middle. What happens to those partners in the middle? And so this is the traditional breadth space that we work in, where we take partners that are newer to the program post-acquisition, and we work with them to grow their revenue up. And eventually, we are able to provide them over to FTE management, and they're the new capstone partners. And so we find this kind of rinse and repeat cycle with partners in the post-acquisition phase is very successful, and it's an area that we really enjoy supporting our clients in, and we provide a lot of verbatim feedback that they can take up the flagpole as well.
Matthew, if you don't mind, I have a question. Folks, be sure to use the question feature to ask your questions. I already have a question, and that would be, in working with CSG in this capacity, am I locked into a long-term contract? Can I work with CSG in a relatively short-term capacity?
That's a good question. They're both accurate answers. For our larger programs, we do offer discounts, economy of scale discounts based on program size and based on contract duration. But the easy answer to that question is we are a completely on-demand organization. You can work with us for as little as 2 to 3 weeks. Some clients we've had for, well, some of our major clients for 18, 19, up to 20 years. Programs are each individually scoped out and created and crafted so the goals meet the stakeholder goals. Every CRM, every program is custom, so we like to craft everything that we do to make sure we're accurately addressing the needs of the client that we're working with at that time.
Okay, thank you, Matthew.
Let me back up, because sometimes that first slide with hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue is not what some clients need to work with. Some clients do have a smaller partner ecosystem. And this is more of an awareness play, a very basic call where we'll spin up tele-resources to call partners in a channel and make them aware of a rebate offer, make them aware of an event that's coming up, make them aware of an incentive in market. And the interesting thing about this slide is these partners already don't know about the offer in market. But a lot of the time, the partners don't even know that there's a portal available for them to access these partner resources. And so these very simple and fairly inexpensive awareness awareness programs do a lot to develop additional cross-sell and developing partner ecosystems within our other client relationships. I'm going to move on to an example of another program that we've been doing for the better part of 6 years now, and it's our readiness solution. Readiness and training solutions that we have on-site custom tailored solutions. This program specifically features Office 365, and it has since grown to feature EMS in Azure and other enterprise security and mobility solutions. And we develop custom solutions and trainings per the client offers in market, and we help them go to market with these co-branded offers, and we develop on-site training, we develop remote training, and the train-the-trainer model that we have is fantastic for these because we're able to go in 2 or 3 days and scale out our training to tens, if not hundreds of resources at these client sites. And then we follow up and refresh those trainings to make sure that the knowledge that we've gone in and worked with these partners with is sticking, and if there's any gaps, we like to address them. These solutions that, Office 365, EMS, Azure, other enterprise class security solutions and scalability solutions like this, these are fantastic solutions if you know how to sell them. Some of our clients are used to a more traditional sales model where they work with their products that they've worked with for 15, 20 years. They have 200 other products in their bag of tricks, and they add these more complicated technical sales in there. And sometimes it helps for us to come in that GTM motion and help them deploy and help them learn kind of the tools of the trade to be able to sell these through to their clients.
Matthew, that actually raises an interesting question, if you don't mind. Does CSG work across different industries? So I think there might be a tendency to think the CSG only works with technology companies. Can you give me some customer evidence of other industries you've worked with?
Yeah, we work with a lot of leading market research firms as well. We do engineering design, we do oil and gas design, we do surveys for codes and standards. Obviously, the technology base is a major component of our revenue, but like any company, we do want to diversify out of our backyard of Microsoft and Amazon. As you mentioned at the beginning of the call, we work with a lot of other technology companies outside of that sphere of influence. And we work with a good deal of industrial and commercial companies as well. We have a lot of case studies and a lot of evidence on our website, www.csgservices.com. And again, if there's a specific attendee on this call outside of the industries we've already mentioned, again, this is just a real quick overview of 2 or 3 of our pillars, our channel and marketing pillars that we have. But again, we have about 14 or 15 different custom solution sheets that we can walk through as well.
Fair enough. Thank you, Matthew.
I'm going to move on because this is an interesting component, Harry, to your earlier question about does CSG work on a long-term contract basis or is it an on-demand kind of pay-as-you-go model? And about 2 years ago, we actually deployed on-demand marketing solutions where you'll see a host of 8 or 9 different columns here of things that we can work with. I like to call this one, we can get your entire campaign in the air, or we can just help you land the plane. So we can do a full-blown outsourced marketing campaign with all these different components to it, or we can just do one. If you have everything else set up, but you could use a little additional telesupport to recruit for your webinar. You could use a one-off email invite to your next customer meeting. If there's a gap, if there's a pain point in your organization, or if there's potentially another department that's slowing you down getting your marketing campaign in the air, we can come in a very brief amount of time, usually measured in hours, develop and deliver these assets to you so you can move on and you can successfully execute your larger campaign. I'm going to end on our 5th solution here. This is our event and roadshow management. This is, we did a lot of the on-demand marketing, and what turned out happening is those on-demand solutions became a full event solution. And so at the end of last year, I personally was a part of a 10-event nationwide roadshow series with one of our major clients on site at their offices, and they asked us just to get it done. And so we took every single aspect of that campaign, from doing the BI to understand where their high-performing targets are, where we should host these 10 cities to maximize their investment. We did all the tele-recruiting for it. We did all the email recruiting for it, all the registration support through our webinar tools, and we actually traveled on-site for these events to spend time on-site making sure that the facility was ready to accommodate a 40 or 50 partner event. We booked all the catering and we made sure all the security was handled. So this solution is designed so you can come in and spend time with your partners and customers, not with security and catering. And we had a fantastic time doing this. We found there was a lot of value to the client to outsource this instead of using internal resources to go and find out how many potential sandwiches we would need in San Francisco or what type of security badges we would need in Manhattan. For outsourcing this to a vendor at a very low cost resulted in a lot of high client satisfaction.
Well, and Matthew, I'd be remiss if you know, I didn't share some of the CSG culture, some of our personality, but sir, I think you like to travel too. Is that correct?
Well, I always have a panache for trying to get platinum on Delta. That's where I'm trying to be one of these days.
There we go. There we go. Please continue.
Well, I'll leave this slide up. This event was actually, this is a screenshot from our this is our 10th event. This was earlier this year in Washington, D.C. For the event management slide that I just showed. And again, I have that just make it work example in there. I did mention earlier that we have 14 or 15 different case studies and solution slides available on our website. I would encourage you to check those out or contact myself or Harry for more information on those. Another kind of exciting tidbit is Microsoft recently contacted us and wanted us to participate in a case study development. It's not advertised on these slides, but CSG is actually a 100% Azure-based environment. We don't own any physical hardware apart from the laptops that we carry and our cell phones. No server racks in our offices. What that does is allow us to scale up at a rapid rate. We could pretty much scale up anywhere across the globe with internet access within an hour. So we can deploy either single resources or a team or even a virtual operations center that will have full access to our cloud-based tele system, our CRM system, and all our internal tools as well. And so you'll see when looking through the CSG collateral, a few things stick out. In preparing for this, Harry asked me for kind of a top 3 bullets of why CSG. And I think it comes down to 3 really easy to remember bullets: agility, scale, and experience. We're fast, we can easily scale up your campaigns, and we've been doing this for a long time, so we know exactly how to do it. So my elevator pitch, I would say, is what do you do at CSG? I say we provide enterprise scale at the personal level. And that's something that it's a very fun environment to work in because we're working with these companies, some large companies, some small companies, but what we're doing is consistently delivering a high level of service and being able to understand all our different clients' services, whether they're focusing on Office 365, whether they're focusing on EC2, whether they're focusing on increasing their channel sales or increasing their net new customer adds. What we do is offer a scalable solution that's proven out into market regardless of the product or the goal that we're selling. We do provide that enterprise scale at a personal level. So Harry, at this point, I'll kick it back to you for any other questions and any other wrap-up.
Sure. Well, a little bit of commentary and then some next steps and a call to action. So when you talked about our capabilities, I did want to emphasize the use of CRM. So yes, we're eating our own dog food and we're up on Azure and all that, but what clients would be interested in knowing is that we're doing a lot of innovation with CRM and some of the business applications. We have a on-staff CTO who's Matthew. He's in before I get into the office, and he stays till he's still there when I leave. He's one of those guys, and you know, clients would want to know that we have built up some real expertise. And then on your third point about experience, I would also compound that with reputation. One of the reasons I joined CSG was its reputation, and that reputation is well deserved, and they have worked hard to gain that. So that hopefully goes hand in hand with experience, because Matthew, experience is a double-edged sword. And the good news is your reputation precedes you at CSG. Folks, what we want to do is we're going to have a quarterly update, and we welcome your feedback along the way. I'm at hbrailsford@csgservices.com. Of course, you can always go to the CSG site, www.csgservices.com, to download information you've seen today and reach out to us. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be posted up shortly. If you'd like to review it, or if you're listening to it for the first time, we welcome your inquiries. And then, Matthew, maybe I'll end on this, is that we're at mid-year. We're at the end of Q2 as this is being delivered, this webinar. And it's an interesting time because a lot of clients have a mid-year fiscal, a July fiscal, or they're vendors to large companies that have a mid-year fiscal. So, you know, I like to call it a mid-year reset in terms of the calendar year. But Matthew, I know you're pretty busy right now. You have a lot of mid-year. It's almost sort of your tax day if you were a CPA. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Todd and I are competing for longest time in the office, to your earlier point.
There you go. There you go. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day to join us for the second quarter analyst update from CSG Services. Folks, have a great couple of months. CSG will be at Microsoft Inspire in Washington, D.C. in just a couple of weeks, as well as ChannelCon, the CompTIA event in early August in Austin. So hope to see you there. Matthew, thank you for your time, and have a great, great summer. We'll see you for the Q3 report. Have a great day.